Today we have a video from Jay, who's a very big content creator for Etheria Restart as well, and he talked about the problems that he has with the game and why casual players are quitting and how it can be fixed. My general feeling about the game is, I think, pretty obvious, right? I play the game a whole lot. I really like playing the game. You can see I'm farming Inferno and almost everything right now, and I'm trying to push as far as I can in PvP and in Ember Track and Ethernet Rally. Pretty much I'm trying to do everything in the game because I really like playing the game. However, we cannot deny the fact that there are certain problems in the game that can be improved so that as many people can play the game as possible. I don't want the game to just be fulfilling my masochistic design to play 8 hours a day on a mobile game. I want as many casual player to enjoy the game, have fun, and then we have a fun and engaging in community. Because right now, if you go anywhere to discuss about a game online, is not exactly a great vibe in a lot of different community. You have to really dig deep and find your small niche community to really discuss about a game because it's hard. Like, I feel it's really impossible to get anyone to give a shit about PvP because everyone is still just struggling. In the early game farming part, like, it's really hard to like have fun, theory craft, discuss about this because nobody really care and it doesn't really matter to a lot of people. And I really play the game for that. Like, the early game part is pretty fun, but I want to get this done, get it settled, get the auto team running as efficient as quickly as possible so I can start playing the fun part of the game a whole lot more. But anyway, enough about me. Let's see what Jay has to say about Etheria Restart.
Good morning, everybody.
I cannot get enough of that intro, man. I click on this man's video sometimes and it's always that intro is crazy.
Warren Jay here with another Etheria Restart video, and today we're going to dive into the challenges facing Etheria Restart that are keeping it from being like one of the top tier gacha games out there, that are driving some people away. Now look, before we get into this, it is totally normal for a gacha game to launch, be a huge influx of players right as the game starts, and then they just leave, right? A week, 2 weeks into the game or whatever, they're like, this game's not for me. I'm going to go back to playing Honkai Star Rail or Genshin Impact. And some of those people are big content creators like a Braxophone who take advantage of quitting a game that they never really wanted to play in the first place. And honestly, like, if you watch his video, the dude never, like, he didn't really understand what he was saying, but he could get a couple 100,000 views by making a video trashing the game on the way out. Hey, look, dude, make your money. I feel you. But there are some problems with the game that are driving people away that weren't just
all right, my opinion about Brax's video is that anyone can hate anything. I don't give a shit. You can hate the thing I like. I don't care. Let's say I love drinking my matcha and you think it's like gay or whatever shit. I don't care, okay? It doesn't freaking matter. He can hate on the game. He can dislike the game. Like, at the end of the day, his community doesn't really like the game in the first place anyway. So the fact that he doesn't really like the game is pretty normal. So I don't really care about Brax's video anymore personally because he doesn't play the game anymore. He doesn't have any further opinion and it is what it is. Does it bring more hate to the game unnecessarily? Maybe. But a lot of that also came from the fact that the game kind of brought it upon themselves. A little bit, not gonna lie.
Always going to quit in a week or two, like what always happens. So I want to talk about those issues here, because if we get those issues fixed, if we can address what I think are like the top, I wrote down like 5 or 6 things that are plaguing the game right now, I think we could have a really thriving PvP focused gacha game. Now, the overarching theme of what I'm going to get to here is one thing this game has done really well is there's a lot of content. Ethernet Rally, Ember Trek, Phantom Theater, Anti-Seed Geckos. You can always be doing these. And then we have like circulating events, right? Things that come and go. Some of them like Shell Story, super easy. Everybody can just mess with that whenever. And so
just saying, all right, the event section can always be better. Cage Rumble, not sure about that. Shell Story can be a bit less RNG, like many other RNG-filled events in the game. You can say, Sean, you sign up for an RNG game and you complain about RNG in events? What the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, every other RNG game that I've played in the industry, every RNG game will make the events very free-to-play friendly. That if you play the game every day for an hour or two, which is already very demanding for many people out there in the world, you know, people who actually have shit to give a shit about. So if they do the events in an hour of their playtime, while they do other things, then the event should reward them for logging in and playing daily, make them feel good about doing the event. But a lot of people who do the event in Etheria Restart, they now feel like shit because of the RNG in the event, like RNG in playing and farming and PvP and Ember Track, the random stun of the boss. Now, the most free-to-play friendly, the most fun part for many people is to do the event, get rewarded with a little bit of breadcrumb by the dev, is also RNG. There have been many events in the game so far. We are at week number 3. There have been many events. And there have been many people who missed out on reward because of the RNG. They can just straight up quit the game immediately and not discover all the fun things inside the game that's waiting for them. But because of that one bad experience, they fucking out. Because let's be real, there are many, many good gacha games nowadays that they can just jump on, have a lot of fun, and forget about Etheria restart in like a blink of an eye. It's very easy to jump ship from one gacha game to another nowadays.
Some of them like K-Drumble, which are a lot more like hardcore in-game focused things. Then there's all the PvP. There's 3 modes of PvP at launch. This is supposed to be like a PvP focused game, I think, and that's all great. Problem is you can't ever do any of it because you are constantly locked in to wearing the gear that you need to be farming, because you have to farm a ton in this game. And I'm not against a game where you have to farm a lot. What I'm against is having my gear tied into farming characters, which are background farming basically all day. And then I have like 20 minutes and I could take those 20 minutes and be like, ooh, I'm going to sit down for 20 minutes and like grind out some summon arena because I'm only in plat. And I know I have like the gear and the characters to be a lot higher than that. Problem is I click matchmake and I'm like, ah, crap. I like all my dot characters equipped to be farming like Nico, Nana, Inferno or something. Oh, do I really want to like unequip all of them and stop farming and then like re-equip everybody? Now I've cut my 20 minutes into like 10. No, I just won't mess with it. I'll just keep farming. And really, you're just stuck farming because there's not separate gear sets in the game. So my number one thing, like if they fixed one thing off of the back of this video, give us PvP gear sets and give us PvE gear sets. Like, we do have gear sets in the game, and if you didn't know about this, you probably should. You can save module sets, and you can see I have a whole bunch of them saved, but once you re-equip them, it strips that gear from the other character, which makes sense. But if that character was, let's say, on your defense team in Arena, like, I'm always running these super janky defense teams. Like, look at this. Ling, Mia, Yelly, Rosa. Do you know why I'm running those right now? Because I was farming with those characters. So I constantly have to, like, change my formation on defense to whatever I'm farming with, just so I don't have a bunch of naked characters rocking out there and getting slaughtered. Like, Etheria, like, it's hard to even do PvP because you don't have PvP gear sets. That needs to be fixed. And honestly, adding like adding background farming gear or some mechanic for when your characters are background farming and you take gear off of them, they keep their gear on while they're background farming, would at least unlock the ability to go into like Ember Trek or Ethernet Rally or Phantom Theater, any of these other game modes that you literally have to quit farming, rearrange all your gear, go do those, put your gear back to farming mode. Look, is it all doable? Yes, but many people who play gacha games that like thrive off of selling you convenience, we want convenience. Like, we're willing to pay for convenience. So give it to us in terms of like gear not being such a freaking pain in the ass to where like it prevents you from doing things in the game. So that's number one. That was a bit of a long point, but there's
Wholeheartedly 100% agree to everything he said. We need separation in gear so that we can actually enjoy other content while our best gear is farming in the background. Like in the future, in the long distant future, 3 months, 6 months in advance, you are so well equipped with so many gear set that your farming team will be very different from your PvP team because your farming team is on the Swift, the Time Weave, and maybe the damage dealing set. And your PvP is going to be on the Bloodbath and Bulwark. It's going to be very different in the long future. But can we get there with a healthy community? I'm not too sure, but in the future, maybe it's not going to be as bad. But right now, if you want people to give two shit about the PvP part of the game, they gotta be able to do it and feel rewarded for playing the content as well, because the cap of RTA gain is crazy low, and the quest for RTA matches doesn't reset every single week, so there's so little motivation for anyone who play the game to give a shit about PvP, and it's one of the most anxiety-inducing part of the game as well for most player. Okay, I fucking love it, so that's a different story. But for most player, doing arena is a huge hurdle, even the AI arena. So being able to do that is gonna change everything for a lot of people right there. In Summoners War, they have separate gear for Union Battle, RTA. Union Battle is very recently though, but RTA and PvE. So a lot of people were encouraged, and it worked out. A lot of people can actually do and give a shit about PvP because their farming team is untouched. They can build their PvP team and have fun and theory craft and mix and match and whatever. That'll be so much more fun for so many players.
We want convenience. So that's number one. That was a bit of a long point, but there's the rant. All right, now the next thing I want to touch on is Inferno difficulties and if they are overtuned a little bit. And I think the devs have already leaned into the answer to that being yes. Some people will argue and say, no, this is the hardest fights in the game. This is the end game. You shouldn't be able to beat that after 2 weeks. I just disagree with that take overall. I think the end game for PvE is all of this trial challenge stuff. I think this is the PvE endgame, or Cage Rumble, Infinity Train, things like that. These stages up here are meant to be farming, and so lowering the difficulty of Inferno, or at least changing the, like, I watched a Vulcan video where he was talking to seanb about like enrage mechanics in these fights, like get rid of that stuff. For example, the way to beat, like, let's look at Aurora. This is probably the hardest Inferno fight in the game, or one of the hardest Inferno fights in the game right now. There should be more ways to beat this fight than, like, burn her down before she kills you. Like, I feel like if PvE, if farming teams are going to be this like puzzle building game of putting together the correct team to like overcome the boss's mechanics and win, hey, maybe if you're a little under geared or your shells aren't perfect, you put together a team that can like tank, heal, and over the course of like 4 to 5 minutes, beat the fight. Like that is enough of a punishment. Like if you have to, if you're background farm for a, 5 clears of Aurora Inferno takes your team, oh, I don't know, 30 minutes, hey, that is a little bit of a punishment. And as you gear up, as you get better shells and modules, you can lower that speed, eventually 2-star or whatever. I think that's plenty good of a progression system. But right now, it feels like there's so few ways to beat these fights that at least don't involve investing into weird characters. And I think, like, as a feels guy, as somebody who wants the game to not only work but feel good, it just feels bad to be like, oh wait, I have to have, let's say you're not somebody who likes Kachi the Guard, but Kachi the Guard as an SR unit is like the key unit to a team comp. So you're like, well, shit, I don't have Lily and I can't build dot teams because I don't have Shadow Sonya. I guess I like have to go level Kachi the Guard, and I guess I have to like max his skill 3. Anytime you feel like you have to do something with a character you don't want to do, it feels bad. And that can drive people away from the game. So if there were just more ways to beat the Inferno fights, I think that would be fine. And I think the easiest way to make more ways to beat the Inferno fights is just like take like the enraging mechanics out or lower them a lot, and then just maybe like drop their stats a bit. Like it's farming content. It's farming content. So like make it a little bit easier to farm. I think everybody would be all right with that at the end of the day. Now, I want to talk about
I think another thing why we feel like there's not a lot of option in the game for this content in particular is that the game is still very new. All right. So the roster is very, very small. So one unit can provide immunity multiple turn. There's only one unit that can do that. So there's really no other option. Like there's no waifu that can provide multiple turn immunity besides Linglo, which is not really an immunity unit. Like Kachi the God is more of an immunity unit, then Linglo can extend that, make it really even stronger. But if there's a waifu that can provide immunity, that is a new character, something like that, that'd be great. Also, the lack of R character in the game and the punishment you feel when you build those characters because you have to delay every other fun thing you're going to build is another thing that people really don't enjoy doing. Like you can do that, that's the right thing to do, but this is the game, right? You got to do the thing that feels good as well. So that is like another big problem with building team for these dungeon. So I'm the kind of guy that build things that work. I don't really give a shit if it's like a big anime titty girls or it's an elf or it's a robot or whatever. I don't really care too much except for Rosa. Rosa is pretty hot. I build Rosa because of that. Anyway, doesn't matter. I build things that work, and to me it's like fine, but a lot of people want to build the things that they like looking at. So let's say they don't like Kachi the God, then they don't want to build it, and they suck, and they hate the game, and the game doesn't give you another option to go around it, then they're gonna leave. And that's pretty much it.
I want to talk about another thing in farming. We just had the double EXP weekend, and it was awesome. The reason the double EXP or the double drop weekend was awesome was not because it was double drops, is because everybody was like, finally I can farm experience, because farming experience in this game sucks. It sucks. Like, sure, occasionally you can get the like rare pull to drop in here or something like that, but it's not nearly enough to justify coming in here every day and farming this, in my opinion. I don't know what the fix is if you just like ramp up the drop rate in here a lot, but I guess in my opinion, I agree with somebody like seanb on this. You should be able to relatively easily get a character to their max level. Like, that shouldn't be the thing that's preventing you from playing the game the way you want. But the truth is, like, if I wanted to take my Mia, who I use all the time, just up to 6 stars, it would take basically every ascension material that I have to just get her a few more stats. And then even after I did that, like, how much character EXP do I have? Well, let's see. Let me find a character that I don't have leveled up all the way. I took hardcore advantage of that double drop weekend. But anyway, I only have a certain amount of these upgrade books. Man, being gated by upgrade books sucks. It feels really bad. So like, increasing the drop rate of these, or somehow just making it so like you don't have to quit farming all of that hard stuff just to come over and start farming stupid experience for a few days to level up one character, that would be a nice little change the game could make. I just hate the way character experience works in the game, and I think some way of making that more friendly to the players would help people enjoy the game more, and that's what I'm all about. Now, events. People have talked about.
I was on stream yesterday and I thought, you know what? Don't make the game too easy. Don't double drop module and share whatever nonsense. But how about we double the drop of coin and training data? Some might even say triple, and that is not even enough. Double that permanently. Like, I don't need the double drop event to come back, make it the game too easy for people, whatever. But how about just double or triple the coin gain, the training data gain, so I can actually upgrade my shit and try to get good? Because upgrading every single thing in the game feels very slow. Alright, I can't 6-star my character, so fucking be it. Let me speed check my gear. Let me re-roll my shell so I can actually gain some stat to do something in the game, to try out new option for the hard content that you want me to play. But right now, upgrading 1 or 2 piece of module, re-rolling a bit of stat in the shell will take you a whole day of max refresh farming. A whole day. Like, imagine if you just re-roll one shell and it didn't roll into anything that was good. The whole day of farming is gone. Yeah, that is a feels bad moment again. And you might say, Sean, you are fucking addicted to like short dopamine, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But like, really? Like, you want to chase the game away? You want this thing to be some hardcore, god tier gaming experience? Like, come on, man. We are playing gacha game here. We want to feel good. The game want to be rewarding with a bit of FOMO sprinkled in between so that we can spend money. But right now, the feels bad moment in the game really outweigh the feels good. Like, it's rare to see a feels good moment, but the feels bad is just everywhere right now.
This Cage Rumble, which is really hard, this is what I actually don't have a problem with. I like that there are rotating hard events. Again, my issue with it is I just was messing with Cage Rumble for the first time today, and I skipped it on its first day because I didn't want to stop background farming. This just circles back to my first point, which was like, I shouldn't have to choose between playing the game during the windows of the day when I actually have some free time to play the game and stopping farming. Like, I love that there's hard content to farm in this game. I just wish it was like, I don't know. Like again, I think it just goes back to my first point of like, give me different sets of gear for background farming PvP, and then like generic PvE, which is like Cage Rumble and all these other in-game modes. I think
Cage Rumble will be pretty fire in like a month, where people actually have like 10 6-star, for example. Then it will be pretty fire. It'll be pretty fun to give it a try, to have a go at the triple bosses. But now, right now, how about we have an event where, hey, do module and do shell 10 times a day. You get a bit of a stamina back, a bit more training data, a bit more of the sprinkle of breadcrumb of progression item that you can give me. That'd be great. You know, how about that? How about rewarding people for playing the game?
Fine with having an easy event, limited event, and a hard limited event, as long as you just recycle them. And that does seem to be what the game is doing. All right, now I want to end this with a real banger, a real feels bad moment in the game that if you run into this, oh wait, do I have enough oh, here's a real feels good moment right there. Boom, perfect lattice fragments, let's go. Anyway, here's a real feels bad moment. All right, let's say you spend a whole day and you're refreshing energy and you farm shells for a day and you have over 1 million shell experience and you're like, finally, I can go to this this codex of magic shell and I can hit attributes and I can go to reconfigure and I can get myself that like plus 17, plus 18, plus 20 speed. And then you spend 1 million of these chips, 1 million training data, and the best thing you get is animus speed plus 7. Shoot me. Like, that's terrible. It is one of the most feels bad moments in this game. When you sit, you're like, I genuinely want this shell to have like speed plus a lot. I don't want healing plus 13. We'll abandon that. It's 30,000 every single time I have to hit this button. And you can see I'm essentially just throwing away farm that I farmed all day on, just looking for one thing. What this reminds me a lot of is when Trust Stones came out in War of the Visions. So all of my War of the Visions players out there, as you can see, I can't even roll speed, much less roll better than 7 speed. All my War of the Visions players out there, when the Trust Stone system came into the game and there was all of this like RNG tied to it, we hated it. It drove people away from the game. It made them quit the game. And like, look, how much EXP? I've wasted like 300,000 plus EXP. Oh, look, I got plus 7. I literally got the same passive that I'm trying to replace. This system is crap. Like, it sucks. I don't mind there being some randomness to the gear system in this game.
Yo, that's the worst one. You get like the red one of the things that you don't care. Oh my God. It's so annoying.
I get it's a gacha game. They all have that mechanic, but like I've rolled speed 7 4 times now. Well, the original one and then 3 extra times. Holy crap. I am wasting a day of farming trying to re-roll a passive on a shell. I'm not talking about something. There's the 5th one. That's just ridiculous. I'm not talking about something fun like getting a new shell. Hey, getting a new shell is kind of fun. Oh my God,
that looks so good.
I'm talking about tedious stuff like this. This is pure tedium, and it should either be removed or there should be like rare drops or rare items in the game that let you pick a substat on a shell, because something like speed is just too valuable.
How about they will sell that with money? Just kidding.
To have to sit here, waste. I mean, what am I down to now? I've about used 1 million. Again, this is the same shell that yesterday I used 1 million EXP on to try to get speed above 7, and I never got it. In fact, I've gotten speed 7. That's the 6th time I've rolled speed 7, which I quite obviously don't want because it's what I'm trying to get rid of. I don't know what the fix is for this. I just know that this is crap. And like, it feels really, really bad as I'm now over 2 million EXP spent.
Oh my
like,
God.
Crit damage plus 29% would be awesome on one of my DPS shells. This ain't that. This is Swift Rush Bulwark Codex of Magic that I want. Like,
all right, for this point, I was also talking on stream the other day about how this is pretty sad in general, this part of the game right there. So what I propose is, how about we don't have blue in Mythic gear? Let's start with that. No more blue passive effect. We started with purple because honestly, purple is also feels bad. Like the moment you get Mythic, it's either red or yellow. Yellow is like bare minimum that you feel okay to start using. Purple is like, oh God, but at least it's the purple speed, you know? So how about we don't have blue anymore? Like, how about we don't have yellow drop in Inferno or 2 bonus pieces in Inferno module? How about we make the drop a little bit better so people feel better, because farming the right thing is still gonna be day in and day out. Like, you just never finish farming in this stupid game, and it's fine, we accept that, but at least no more blue in that'd be great. Okay, that'd be amazing. Or what if you roll something? You roll a purple speed. You cannot roll a blue speed because you can roll a yellow speed and you're trying to get the red speed, but all you're getting is like the same or lower. The worst is lower. So how about if you hit purple speed, you cannot go to blue speed, and you go yellow, you cannot hit purple anymore, so that it ease a little bit of this frustration for the player base. You know, that'll be pretty great. That'll be pretty fun, yeah?
I tried to offer some fixes in there. I tried to offer something later, but now I have to re-roll like this stuff. And like, it just feels so terrible. Like, okay, let's see. Let's try to make this a DPS shell. You guys see what I'm saying, right? Like, it sucks. So those are my gripes. Those are my gripes. I tried to offer some fixes in there. I tried to offer some like ways to maybe overcome some of the problems that I was describing. But look, I know if you're a really hardcore, really smart player who consumes all the guides, who's like grinding every day, you can overcome this stuff on your own. And like, good for you. I'm proud of you for that. Most players, for a game to survive, you must cater to a slightly more casual audience, especially if you want to make money, because many of the people who can afford to spend money on this game do not spend their entire day playing video games. They're working 1 or 2 jobs, they have a family or pets or a yard or something they have to take care of. They want to background farm, and then they want to be rewarded for their background farm by being able to experience the fun parts of the game. If you can't do that, the game's not going to succeed. So let's fix this stuff. Let's get this game to succeed. I love this game. I want it to thrive. See y'all in the next one. Peace.
Overall, I agree with his take, and a lot of things can be fixed, makes the game a little bit easier. It doesn't mean that it's gonna be like super easy. Like, if you just reduce the HP and speed of all these dungeons by 10%, that wouldn't change how hard it fucking is. All the amazing, like, life-changing RNG factor of these dungeons, like how the Teramaton boss can one-shot one of your character with the left hand plus the boss attack, or Doki Doki resistance and damage reduction, or Aurora just doing some massive damage and one-shot the healer. It's all gonna still be there, but ease it a little bit, you know, to see if the player base can actually clear it now and work from there. And the biggest problem I have for the game right now that he didn't mention in the entire video was the communication of the dev. It used to be amazing. It used to be a whole lot of communication day in, day out between the dev team and the player base. Oh, can see the chat right there. It used to be amazing communication. It used to be constant update. It used to be your voice matter to Etheria restart. But now you can see the feedback log on the Discord server keep piling up, piling up, piling up. And the mod team can only do so much. They can only tell us to like, hey, they're listening, they're working on it. But are they really working on it? Is there an official announcement from the dev team that they are working on it? We don't know. We don't know what the plan is. We don't know what they think about the player base. They don't know. We don't know anything, pretty much. Jack, the guy on top of the game, used to ask me to give him feedback, like proactively. Ask me, hey, Sean, what feedback do you have? What do you think about this, that in the game? And now I'll be sending him paragraphs and essays about stuff that in the game that, hey, let's discuss, let's chat. And it's cricket. It's nothing. And that is my biggest problem. Like, I don't mind the game being hard. I don't mind the game being very challenging. I don't mind them wanting the game to be hard as well. But communicate. Hey, we want this game to be really hard. Like, get good. You know, at least there's there's an announcement. Not like there's silence. Like, what are you doing? Are you like Mr. Beast trying to dodge a drama by being silent? I don't know, man. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.